Hi! It's fun to be here. Hopefully, you guys heard the news by now that Fitness Protection is live. At least Maintain is. We have 3 suites of products that we're going to be rolling out over the course of the year, and the first of 3 is open and ready for purchase. If you go to fitnessprotection.com, you can see that the splash page is still up. I sent a link directly to everyone who is subscribed to the newsletter yesterday. That includes the nice list, everyone that had registered for the newsletters and updates. I wanted to make sure that they got it first. The splash page will be taken down eventually, but not today. Yay, wanted to reward the people that specifically wanted this information. So there you go. That's that. Well aware the splash page is still up, and if you had any questions about that, yes, I know, and yeah, I meant to do that. So have fun. There are 2 questions, though, that I got in multiple forms today that I thought I would come back and try to answer right now. And I thought I would answer them here since a lot of my people do not yet like or follow the Fitness Protection Facebook page. And it seems like I have a lot more support over here for the moment. So I thought this would be a good place to start, even though it's not a great time to start. So the question number 1, Coach MK, I am really interested in joining Maintain. Will you be doing anything for the fall race-wise? If so, what are the pace requirements? Well, yes, I will, because remember, I race. I like to race. So I'm not going to expect you to come join a training program and not race eventually. The question that you asked, though, is it's going to be a bit of a longer answer here, and this is why I chose to stream it instead of type it, is we're looking at this in a whole new way. If you think back to the very first time most of you were introduced to me, where I came onto the scene, I was busted and broken. I had had Irish twins. I'd moved to altitude during the pregnancy of the second of the 2 Irish twins, and I needed to get ready for the New York City Marathon. I was not about to give that up. So from there, I couldn't find a coach that would put me back together the way I wanted to. So I decided to become the coach that I wanted to hire. And then from there, the day after I got my RRCA certification, and a note went through the Lifetime Run Centennial Facebook page, and I immediately jumped saying, hey, we're looking for a coach. And I replied to Kristen Schultz instantaneously saying, I want it. And she was like, cool. That was that. And I've been coaching ever since. So that was beautiful and serendipitous, and I will always be grateful to Kristen Schultz and Rebecca Mayer for taking a chance, really, on this woman that they'd never met, who had been coaching, who had just gotten her RRCA quite literally the day before, and said that I'd been running for a really long time, but I didn't. It's a Garmin world now, and I did most of my running and racing before Garmin was a thing and before everything was chipped and timed and had to be official. So there's that. So when I started working, where I'm going with this is when I started working at Lifetime and I was running the group training programs, I was immediately not horrified, but overwhelmed by the responsibility that I had. We had a motley crew. The first training cycle, I think I had maybe 25 people between marathoners and half marathoners, and no 2 ran the same pace ever for any reason. And they were all different fitness levels and experience levels and capabilities. And I was like, I don't know what to do. How do I do this? But before I could even really get to that question, I first had to answer, like, how am I going to kind of unite them all and keep them together when they're so different? If the founding fathers of this country could take a whole bunch of people that would rather die at sea than join the Church of England and create what is now the United States, then surely, God, I can just get these people to hang for 20 weeks in Centennial. It can't be that hard. But it was that hard. I had to change the way I looked at running, racing, training, and coaching. What I expected from a coach. All of that had to shift in order for me to deliver a service that would have been the quality that I would have expected if I had been in their shoes. So what that means is this is where the 140 pace rule came from. Make sure they weren't killing themselves when they weren't on the track. And it also came from from at the end of that first training cycle, that was where the fitness protection program was born. It was born in the fall, late fall of 2013, early 2014, when everybody walked away after Denver Rock and Roll and said, that was really great. We'll see you in January. And I'm like, no, no, you can't just like waltz away for 2 months and then expect to like PR at Colfax in the spring, because that was the chatter. Like, oh, it'll be faster next time. And I'm like, not necessarily. That depends on what you do after you leave here. So fitness protection was what I called the group of people that came together. Like, here's your fitness protection program through the winter, and I'll get guest speakers, and I will have a whole thing. I will try to find a way to keep us together and engaged. And if I have at least 10 of you, then that means I can afford a babysitter so we can keep Wednesday night track going. Let's do that, all right? And we got enough people to make that happen. So I tell you all that to tell you this. Hi, Amanda. I would not have everything that I did back then has prepared me for now that I know how to keep this motley crew together. When I started the fitness protection program, I was still training everyone in Training Peaks, effectively one-on-one. And all of them, with two exceptions, who are both my elites, everyone got the same training plan. I figured out how to write and alter and make everyone get the same plan and get the results that were right for them. And that is something I'm extremely proud of, but I didn't invent the method, and I've never claimed to. I just I did a lot of studying and a lot of work on existing heart rate training plans that have been out and written by people much, much smarter than me. And hi! Okay, try to babe. Sarah, I don't need you to be anything other than you. I really, truly don't. You are wonderful. You're an asset. I love everything you bring to the party. I don't know that I was Seaberg ready before I started talking today, but I guess we're going to find out. And hello, Somerson, how are you? I'm about to get to your question in a minute. So, but the first question was about paces. No, there are no pace requirements. There never have been, and there never will be as far as I'm concerned. It's the wrong way to look at it. What I had to shift so that I could keep these people together, these Lifetime folks together at track night on long runs and feeling like some sort of a cohesive unit. And who, by the way, we still run together. We're all of us take that for people from that first training cycle with me. We're still close. We run together on Saturday mornings. They are all over the photos of my brand new website. They all came out for a photo shoot, and I was really excited about that. So, I mean, this worked well enough that something really gelled in a super cool way, and I want that to grow. I want to take it virtual. I want it to be absolutely everywhere. Everyone should be lucky enough to have a group like mine, and that is never going to happen if we keep dividing people on the basis of pace. And it's just, again, it's totally wrong. If who cares like what the top of your easy effort pace range should be? You're missing an opportunity to spend 3 or 4 hours with some really awesome folks if you just won't slow down even a little bit. But I digress. Like, no, there are none and never will be pace requirements. What does need to change is the way we choose training plans, because the way they're presented at the moment, the only way in most programs, and it makes sense. Like, there is no reason, if you have like one really good training, three or four really good training options for different levels, would you really need to offer 3, 4, 5, or 6? I say no. So I'm not, everyone has their own way of doing things in this world. And the Hal Higdon beginner plan is still fantastic. Like, his contribution to the sport cannot be overstated. Most people that you meet will have run their first marathon DIY, sans coach, or they would have said Hal Higdon was their coach, even though they never interacted with the man. So, and you theoretically could do that plan over and over and over again, but most people don't want to. So then the issue becomes, instead of looking at it the way that he intended in his book and saying beginner, intermediate, advanced, which that has to do, that moniker has to do with your fitness level at the moment you commence that training plan. He does not care how many times you run the marathon. So if your training age is effectively 0 and you're opting into the advanced plan because you've done 10 or 15 or 30 marathons in the past, then you made the wrong choice. But that is something that I've not been able to get away from, because I saw this over and over and over again again at Lifetime, when people would opt into the group training programs, and they would be offered beginner, intermediate, or advanced plans. And all we ever said was, there are ranges in here. Monday you can run 3 to 6 miles or 4 to 5 to 7 miles, whatever. All we ask is that you try to be really consistent. Either you always in a week pick the low end of the range, or always in a week pick the high end of the range. And that was all the guidance we really gave. And that did not work well. That did not work well at all. That was a bad coaching cue for this group, because people would opt into they first of all, they had opted into the wrong plan. They would always choose the bigger of the two numbers, and they would never choose the smaller of the two numbers for any reason. And if they had to one day, they would make those numbers up later. And it was like, I got to get the mileage in, I got to make the mileage up. And I'm like, I know that that's what's written on paper, but you don't need to make that mileage up. That's, again, we're looking at this incorrectly. So I want to present everything in a radically different way. And when I answer this next question, we'll talk a little bit more about what that way is and what it involves. But what it comes down to is not, I've given up asking anyone, how fit are you right now? Because you know what? It is a sucky question to answer. And it is humbling, and it hurts, and it's terrible. And to do my job well, I shouldn't need to know that. I should give you a framework for making good choices that as much as possible removes shame and ego from the equation. And I hope that I've done that now. Because frankly, the only way to get a new plan in most places is to progress, to get fitter at the day that training plan starts, to go from beginner to intermediate, to work up your mileage so that you can be in a different place. And that, I don't want that. Personally, I don't want the pressure to have to progress to get a new plan, and I don't want to demand that somebody makes a whole new plan just for me, because my fitness level right now and my willingness to pay for it does not warrant a super duper special plan. So with that in mind, welcome to the Fitness Protection Program. All you have to do is not stop, and if you don't stop, we can keep building. But before I go any further, I'm going to answer the next question. So this comes from Emily. Hi, MK. I'm signed up to run Philly as my first marathon in November. Eek! And I'm thinking it's probably going to take me between 6.5 and 7 hours. My original plan was to use Incredible on my own, but I saw on the Facebook Live from yesterday that you're going to have the Tenacious AF plan for fall marathons. I'm nervous about my race, and I'm thinking that is likely the perfect plan for me. I've got a half this weekend. My plan is to take a week off and then roll into the monthlies until early July, when Incredible would start. Could it also work to jump on the Maintain plan in June and stick with that and do Tenacious when that would start for Philly? Either plan is a totally good, legit plan. But if I were you, I'd jump into Maintain, because you know what? I've missed you. And other people have missed you. And we got 43 purchases last night. So we're going to have a good group. And hopefully that group is going to grow. So if you're running Philly, that's the third weekend in November, and you would need to start 10 weeks out. So that would be mid-September. So from now till mid-September, absolutely. Go ahead. I say whenever you're ready, go ahead and do your thing. Have good luck with your race this weekend. Rest for a week, and then come hop into Maintain. That is, you can do whatever you want to do, but I know I want to be closer to you, and I want to be supporting you, and I want you to have Coach Sarah, and I want you to have the awesomeness and the strength of this community. More than anything, if this is your first race, I want you to have good reminders on a regular basis to do the strength work, because what is going to make the difference for most of us is strength. I can send you articles that I had to send a couple of my runners several weeks ago, where one of the strongest 10,000 meter runners on the planet just set a mind-boggling PR, and he credits it all to strength training. He said he had never taken it seriously, and now he decided to, and it's like, okay, what a difference that makes. But it's what coaches say all the time. Every time your foot hits the ground and propels your body forward, you are generating power, and strength is the most efficient way for most runners to generate more power and to increase their efficiency. So there are running workouts you can do that will achieve the same effect, but they take a big toll on the body. So the strength training, the way that I recommend it, the way we want to do it, is going to work those muscles in a way that is less likely to lead to, say, lasting damage or injury than, say, doing hill repeats would do if you don't yet have the glute strength for hill repeats. So there are assumptions that I have to bake into all of the training plans that I offer, and I'm changing the assumptions that I make in a really big way. So one of the bigger ones that I had made in the past was that nobody has glute strength. And everybody knows this. Now I've come to realize the hard way that like, whew, people are not likely to. My glutes are fine. My glutes did not hurt after that marathon. It was my quads, it was my knees, it was my ankles. It was this, it was that. It was that I hit the wall at mile 20. It had nothing. No, you're wrong. No. So you've already come to me so the way it's been set up in the past, if you were to look at it from a straight up business perspective, the sales pipeline is mangled because you're coming to me with a diagnosis. You're not coming to me with a question. So when you only come to me when you've decided to train for something and you pick that race out, then the onus, like, we got a ticking clock. You are here for performance. You're here for a reason. You don't just want to do the event. You want to do the event to a certain specification in your head to achieve all the value that you put into the cost of that training plan. And by that parameter that you didn't define before you came in, now I am being judged on the basis of whether or not I met that standard, whether or not you were satisfied on race day. And one thing I can tell you for sure about marathoners is that almost nobody is satisfied on race day when they cross that finish line. So the way I want to change this value proposition is to make sure, because again, in the past, when I could say to people, they go out and they train with me, they feel like they're throwing everything out that they've ever known out the window, and they are scared, they are worried, and they're like, I'm running slow, and people are making fun of me, and I'm like, then they're buttheads. Why do you care what a butthead says? The small wins that are actually big wins, they feel like consolation prizes. It feels like I'm selling you snake oil, like I'm telling you you're not actually bleeding. When I say, okay, but we've gotten through an entire training cycle. You've done all of the runs and can prove it on Strava. You haven't missed a single run. You have logged more mileage than ever before. This is the first time you have fully completed a training plan. Yeah, but I didn't PR. I'm like, well, that's a different question. That's the wrong question, and that's not fair. I can't promise you. I can't guarantee outcomes. No one can. What I can do is get you to the start line as safely and as strong as possible in the time frame allotted. And I think I do that quite well most of the time. But when I say, but you've logged 180 miles last month and you've never done that before, that doesn't mean anything. So all of these small wins, which again are actually big wins, I want them to feel like wins. And that's going to happen when you're logging 180 miles in a month where you weren't training for anything. Because that's when it matters. The fall race is determined by what you do in the off season, not what you do in the training cycle. By the time the training cycle has started, it is too late, y'all. It is way too late. So that's why the fitness protection program existed in the first place, was to make sure that my runners could get what they wanted. And the only way I could guarantee that, a better outcome, is if they didn't stop. And they didn't stop. And I think about what I want for you, and what you want is always going to be on you. But what I want for you, I like to say I grew up poor. Not poor like we had to eat garbage, because a lot of people say we grew up modestly, and that doesn't mean anything. What that means is, like, I didn't have a private plane. When I say I grew up poor, it was always or. We never took vacations. We didn't have the money. My father, you couldn't take the time off from work ever. So when it was, okay, you can play softball or your sister. We can go to dinner or a movie. We can do, it was always, or we can pay this bill or that bill at times. And I remember those times really acutely. So when I thought about what I wanted when I grew up, if you were to ask me, it was super articulate. What do you want? And I grew up, or I want to be and. I want to have dinner and a movie. I want to have, I want to have the book and the CD. I want to have maybe not everything, but I want to be in a place where every once in a while I can say and it doesn't always have to be or. I wanted options. I think you guys probably want options too when you think about it. And what I want to do, what I aim to do, what fitness protection is going to do is maximize the options available to you year round. My people, my initial fitness protection people from Lifetime, let me tell you, we had there was a text chain going on a couple weeks ago, and I was like, hey, where are you guys doing your long run this weekend? Oh, at this 50K down south, want to join us? And I'm like, okay. They just YOLO to 50K. No big deal. Because they run that much. They do all the races. Guys, they do all the races. They're going to do Colfax and then Boulder and then turn around and run the Revel Marathon. And then probably the next weekend there's a trail race that they don't know that I know that they're looking at because I see you in my Facebook feed, y'all. And they know that I'm not mad and I don't care. But I love that these people can do whatever they want to do. They have all the options in the world, and that's what I want for you. But when you come to me demanding performance out of a training plan, or I didn't earn your money, then I'm the person saying no. No, you can't do this race, and no, you can't do that race because we don't have enough time to recover and get back into this quality workout that you need to have if you're going to achieve this aim on this day. I become your mom telling you no instead of the coach that says yes and makes things possible, and that is who I want to be for you. So that is what we're really trying to do with Maintain. And that is another reason why, Emily, you say between 6:30 and 7. I say you have no idea what's possible between now and November. Come with me, stick with us, do the strength. We're going to have so much support in there. We're going to make sure you do the strength with us. We're going to give you every opportunity to join in, laugh at us, laugh along with us, and get things done. We're going to have more than what's written on the page, and the pages you have are wonderful and beautiful. And if you decide to go that way, that is totally fine. But I hope that $30 a month from this point forward, we can do so much and we can give you all the options. And most people don't need a 20-week training plan. Dathan Ritzenheim just ran Boston on an 8-week ramp up. And I was like, wait, when I got this article in the inbox, I was kind of like jumping up and down because I had already written all my 10-week plans and I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I'm like, exactly. The reason that we have a 20 or a 24 or 36-week training plan is because most people that are coming to us don't know that they aren't fit enough to get the result they want at the start. Or we need more time to get you ready to at least cover the distance, much less get ready to cover it at the speed that you think you want to in your head when you signed up for a coach and said, now if I don't hit this number, you didn't earn your money. So I'm like, if we just maintain a really big base of fitness all the time and not an overwhelming one, you can do all the halves. You can do all the 5Ks. You can YOLO. You can do 50 fucking miles with Susan because you live nearby and thought this whole 3 days at the fair thing sounds like a good idea. Let's see what happens. And a couple of people have reached out and said that who have been doing the monthlies. And I'm extremely proud of that. You just decided to YOLO a 50K and you will be able to. That's good. So that's what I was thinking when I was changing the pipeline and the decision framework for people to go into marathon training plans. The half marathon plans are 6 weeks long and they're not up yet, but luckily you won't need a whole lot of time. 6 weeks, y'all. If you stay in the fitness protection program for 3 months, I can have you ready at any level. I can have you ready for a marathon 10 weeks after that. But you got to do the work. You got to do the work for those 3 months. 4 to be safe. 3 for sure. 3 consistent months, one after the other, and then we can fire up in the plans. We'll be in the membership area of your site. I'm never going to charge you for them. It's an option to do more. If you want more support while executing that plan, that will always be an option, but I'm never going to charge you for the plan once you're through the door. I'm going to make everything available to you and give you all the options in the world, just like I wanted when I was a kid. So I've mentioned this yesterday in the stream on the fitness protection side, if you guys want to look at it, the Q&A session that I did last night, we've got really 3 tracks, and those 3 tracks are, sorry to hold this up, it's tenacious, dedicated, and steady. We're still voting on the name right now. Dedicated is winning by a landslide. We've got tenacious, dedicated, and steady. And here is how that funnel shakes out. The difference between, and I've said this before and it didn't really land with people, but the difference between running like a 4:15 and a 5:15 marathon, it's not that different. Like the plan that you need, the requirements aren't that different. The way we've been looking at it is wrong because we've been dividing it by pace. If we take a look and say, all right, at the start of this training plan, where do you reasonably expect to finish? If this is your first marathon, or if you think you might finish faster than 6 hours, you're in one category. If this is your first marathon, or you have no good reason to think that you will finish in under 6 hours, then you're in one category. If you meet a certain list of criteria that's going to be up on the website soon, and are really confident that you're going to finish that marathon in under 4 hours, then you are in a separate bucket. And that third bucket is everybody else in between. And that is exciting. And I can turn out, you'll have a fall plan and a spring plan, the same as all my Lifetime runners had. I wrote 2 plans a year and gave them to everybody, and everybody had a great time, and they just went from strength to strength to strength to doing like all the crazy stuff they could cram in their calendar and find a coupon for. And they do it well. And that's what I want for you guys. And that's what you're going to get with Fitness Protection. So you can stress out over a race for 20 weeks, or you can decide like, hey, okay, I think I'm ready to do this. Let's do this, and you've got 10 weeks to ramp up. And that's not 10 weeks to stress out and 10 weeks to freak out, because that training plan isn't going to look very different than your day-to-day. We're not switching gears in a really big way. Your long run sandwich is just getting a little bit longer. And the strength that we do is going to change. That is it. Isn't that nice? If we take all the crazy stuff out and we take all the extraneous elements out, we can do really well. Because we're never going to lose our fitness, because we're never going to stop. And we're not going to stop because we're not going to have that endless boom-bust cycle of, I want to get fit, so I'm going to train for a marathon. Oh, God, I've bitten off more than I can chew. I'm really burnt out. I'm really stressed out. I'm injured. Now I can't do this anymore. Or I'm going to get to the finish line, then I need a couple months off from running because all of this is too much. Instead of like going too hard and then scaling back too much, we're just going to be consistent, and we're going to get that perfectly linear trajectory that you guys demand in training plans, because there's not going to be huge time blocks off in between. So you ask me, Emily, what you should do? The answer is you come to me as soon as humanly possible, and you let me love you all the way to the start of Philadelphia. It's my favorite city. It's one of my favorite races, and I am going to start negotiations with my husband for us to be there that weekend, because I do not miss an opportunity to go to Philadelphia. Rebecca, if you're watching, I'm going to try real hard to talk you into that, because I want to go to Philly. And that's how I feel about that. So in case you can't tell, I'm a little excited. I'm more than excited. I'm fired up. This is the plan that I would have wanted a long time ago. I do not want the pressure to perform. I do not want the pressure to get better. I have enough of that in my life. I have enough of that in my own head. I don't need it coming from other places. Signing up for a marathon is a badass thing to do. Signing up for a half marathon is a full race, you guys. That is a badass thing to do. Being strong enough to do one whenever you want, there's nothing more badass than that, even if you're running ungodly slowly on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Welcome to the Fitness Protection Program. You have no idea what you're capable of. I cannot wait to show you. We are going to have some fun. If you have, I hope those answered the questions, you guys. If you have any more questions, do let me know. But when it comes down to pace requirements, those are 3 categories based on theoretical finish times. It has nothing to do with fitness or current ability as far as I'm concerned. You could opt into the 6-hour group and then end up running faster than that, and it wouldn't mean that you made a bad choice. It's totally possible that you could opt into Steady, which is the sub 4-hour people. I wanted to give it a name that didn't sound real sexy, like so that people would be excited. I want to be in the advanced plan. I hate that nonsense. So with the name that, because Steady means like steady effort over the course of the marathon. And if you're in that category and you're running sub 4, then I expect you already know the marathon distance well and you know how to execute it. So we don't have to have that conversation. Instead of like giving you more fun, cool stuff, I'm going to take things off the table. Go, you don't need this. I'm going to save it for everybody else. So hopefully that will be what kind of pushes people into that nice middle bracket, which is going to be fun. We can do fun stuff, you guys, when we're not stressed out. But I'll stop there because I could keep talking about this all day long, and y'all probably have dinner to eat and places to go, and I haven't even looked at the comments yet since Amanda Williams said, "Hi, Coach." And I got scared when I saw Sarah Seberg, because I will never not get scared when I see Sarah Seberg in my streams, because Sarah Seberg, I was not Seberg ready, but I put on pretty earrings for you, Sarah. Hi, Amy. Hi, Lisa. Wasn't Lisa gorgeous, you guys? Did you see her on my website? Lisa's on my website. Yeah, I know. 43 people already, Amy. I was super excited about that. My God, Amanda, I missed you. Gonna jump into maintain. No, don't wait a month. Just come now. Come now. Why in the world would you wait? Aren't you tired of missing me? I'm so tired of missing you guys. Maybe premature. I'm coming back from injury and had several weeks from December to February of not running at all. Should I can any thoughts of a full in December? No. No. I wouldn't put the money down yet if I were you, because that is pressure. So if this race does not look like it's going to sell out, cool. Let's wait and exercise that option later when we're a little more confident. But no, I don't think a December marathon is off the table for you at all. Based on what you've been telling me over time, there is no compelling reason for me to think that a December marathon is not possible. 4 months of rebuild, maintain, then ramp. Are you looking at Tucson? Tucson is a great race. All you need, hopefully you're working on your glutes right now, because your glutes are going to need that for Tucson. And I actually might be going there to that race too, FYI, because I like Tucson that much, and I've got friends down there I need to go see. So, yeah, no, I mean, I think it's totally possible. I think it's totally possible. It's not just possible, it's probable, especially knowing you. So I'll leave it at that. If you have more questions, let me know. But no, I cannot think of a compelling reason for you to keep December off the table, a December marathon off the table based off of your current fitness level, Sarah. Kimberly, I'm currently injured and looking to start running again in late May, June with a November marathon, so you're probably premature too. Not necessarily. Come see me, depending on the injury, depending on how long you've been out. info@coachedandloved.com. You can always send me emails. I cannot promise I'm going to get back to you instantaneously. I can promise that if it looks like it's going to be more than 6 hours before I can sit down and write you a thoughtful email, or if I think that time might not come today based off of like the 4 little liabilities I have running around downstairs, then what I will do is stop what I'm doing when I can, put on pretty earrings, maybe a bra, and never pants, because you don't need to care about that, because I hate pants. Then I will come on here and stream my answer for you in the most thoughtful way possible. So yeah, not premature at all, Kimberly. I wouldn't think that at all. Yay, Melinda! Yay, Amanda! Oh my gosh, Amanda, you convinced me signing up. Yay, yay! Oh, I love all the hearts. I love seeing you guys. I miss you so much. Maintain it is. I need them to get pep talks. I'll be here. And you know what? Coach Sarah is going to be, we've got a new setup in the Facebook groups. It's a lot more manageable for everyone. So, no one can post in there other than admins and moderators. But Sarah comes in there and posts once a day, the daily run thread. I come in and I do Facebook Lives regularly, just saying like, hey, and once some a little certain someone who will remain unnamed, but she poops in her pants a lot, you guys. Once she starts daycare, I will be streaming a lot more via different mediums. So you can do. There will always be someone in there either foam rolling or doing strength, or just being like, hey, want to hang out? Ask questions. Let's do that. You're still going to get asked to coach on Sunday nights. This stuff is fun, and I like doing it. So now that this is a real, and plus people like save it. They save it. People have taken like videos of the screen, which means that they remember my answers, and that means the world to me. Like I go back and I read it over and over again, or I go back and I watch it over and over again when I need to feel good, and I'm like, but you know what? Because you can't hear my voice. If you haven't been around me that much, you can't hear my voice jumping off the page with an email sometimes. But hopefully, if you watch these enough, you can hear my voice in the back of your head saying, yes, you can, and I can't wait to watch, and you need to shut up and sit down because she's doing great. Because there's always that voice in there saying something else, and I will shout that voice down, and I can do that through this medium a whole lot better than I can on paper. Yay, Stephanie, I'm so glad you signed up. I love seeing all these familiar names, you guys. Like, it's making my day. And it's snowing. Like, I can't ask for better than that. Here, I'll show you guys on Twitch anyway. Yay, it's snowing now outside. They've been threatening for it to snow all day long. And now it actually is, and that is just crazy. So, it's a good day. It's a good day. It feels like a sign. I love snow more than anything. So Suzanne, woohoo! Maintain is open and I'm in. I know you are. You're one of the first through the door, girl. I'm like, somehow like the link was not totally live. Like I hadn't shared it, and a whole bunch of people found it before I made any of the announcements yesterday. And I'm still like, I don't know how, but I love you for being tenacious. That is actually where Tenacious AF, the name of the marathon plan, came from. When I threw that out and was like, gosh, I mean, these people they're just tenacious. Fuck, that's amazing. And they're like, kind of like people that run, that take longer than 6 hours in the marathon, right? And I was like, yes! That is true, because I would not have the patience to do one thing continuously for more than 5 hours. I don't wait in lines if I can avoid it, you guys. I'm like, Maybe I'm just a child. I don't know. I hate lines. I see a line. I'm like, whatever they waiting for, it can't be that good. And I go somewhere else. I can replace anything with anything that does not have a line and be just as happy with it. But I have no taste. So Maintain is open, planning for November marathon. Happy to know the ramp up will only be 10 weeks. That's right. Well, that doesn't mean you get to start working out 10 weeks before the race. It means that we start now and we keep going. And if we start now and keep going, then you only need 10 weeks to ramp up for a marathon. And that takes a lot of the pressure off, because you know what? If you wake up and you have the flu, or you wake up and your kid has the flu and you can't leave, or it's snowing on your race day, if it's the Boston Marathon 2018 weather, and you're like, I don't really want to run this, great, you're only 10 weeks in. We can still parlay that taper into something else. It just takes so much of the pressure off, the stress, the anxiety, and the need to perform. And especially if it doesn't cost more than what we're already doing to stay really fit and fabulous. Yay! The training is my favorite part, but that's also why I made that picture that I put all over the internet and Instagram and Facebook last night. Don't train, maintain. If we truly maintain and we keep all the elements of a training plan year round without the stress, oh my gosh, the options you have, the things you can do, the places you can go. I mean, it's countless. It's countless. And the people who have been doing my monthly plans for longer than 3 months, they have succeeded by every possible metric. We had people that PR'd every race distance in a very short period of time. We had one person who did it with a cold. I'll never forget that. But yeah, there's been a lot of the things that I had taken for granted or thought that I knew as a coach as well were totally turned on their heads once I started seeing results from, or at least early results from monthlies. So I'm very, very confident that this will be just as effective. And I also think you guys are going to see it now that Dathan and his coach are talking about it, but you heard it here first. Like, you don't really need a really super long marathon build-up. I'm like, well, you do, because we've got to adapt your tendons, joints, and ligaments to cover the distance as well. But if you're doing, like Dathan, big long runs all year long, then no, you don't need huge ramp-ups for very long, because you've already made those crucial adaptations. So that's a big calculation that went into everything, and I'm super excited. I think you're going to be hearing it in more places over time, is my point. You're going to see shorter and shorter marathon plans, but what you're not going to see is the sticking point to keep you around and moving and motivated in between, and that's what we've got for you. I love you, Viola. The Facebook group, too, is fun for motivation and support. Yay! Oh, thank you, Sarah. Coach Sarah posted the link in the Twitch chat. Maybe we'll get her to post her in the Facebook chat later. And Emily, too, she ran the second fastest American debut ever. Like, her race in London was fantastic. Yay! I'm assuming what you said, that'd be so amazing if I come to Philly. I agree with that. I love Philly. I love that race. I want to come back not pregnant and legit cheer for people. And I tell you, the one thing I know for sure is I'm not going to be pregnant this fall, you guys. It's not happening ever again. Oh my God. I love those kids, but I'm done. If ever again I have to stop, it's not going to be because I'm having a really terrible pregnancy. I missed you guys way too much. So those are my 2 questions. If you got any more comments, throw them in now, because it's snowing and I need to go play in that with my children. Because why not? Yay! You are coached. You are loved. For those of you that are in the first 43, hopefully we've had more. Allegedly, we've gotten 3 more purchases since I started this stream, and that's fantastic. We are all going to win at life together. I cannot wait. May the 1st cannot come quickly enough. Yay! It would be amazing to have you. Oh, that's right. It's your first marathon. Okay, it's your first marathon. It's in Tucson. Then I have to go. All right, we'll just start planning it. You start training. We'll start planning. We'll heal first, and then we'll make it happen, Sarah. I really legit do like Tucson, you guys. It's a terrific race. The people who put it on are lovely. It's a really neat town. I mean, I have nothing negative to say about, and I have negative things to say about other races, or at least things that give you pause. Like, okay, well, this race is really nice, but one thing to consider. And I got none of that about Tucson, other than, like, it is a lot of downhill. You need some glutes going into it, because you got to run down that hill. You're not going to be rolling in a barrel and yay gravity. But with that in mind, you can go, there's no reason to go and not have like a really terrific day. So, yay. She maintains. Yes, she does. She totally maintains. All right. Okay, I think that's everything, and I think I'm all caught up. You guys, I love you. Have a great night. If you have more questions, info@coachingloved.com. Coach Sarah or I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, you can feel free to ask questions on any, like leave comments on any of these streams. We'll be going back and checking those as well. So that's it. See you later.